I never thought I'd see all these things reemerge. I thought that we had just really wiped them out.
I've grown some Equatorials myself over the years. That's really because I like them, and that was the only way for me to get them.
You grew some good haze, though.
I've grown some original haze.
You grew some original
Willie
haze.
Nelson.
Yep. You had two different original hazes and two different directions on the high, but one of them was like really a traditional haze.
Todd?
You did a good job.
No, they were from Skunk Man Sam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is Todd's stock too. Yeah. But yeah, no, you did a killer job. But you did those outside in Ojai, right?
They performed well in Ojai, exactly.
Yeah, and you had a killer location, though.
The,
God, you had a good grow location.
latitude, 34 degrees there. And
remember his spot?
Yeah, no, and it kind of reminds me of my little Colorado, the back anyways, where like you kind of back to open space or like a gully, just like my house is.
So I get that breeze
My
coming
house
through
is
there.
insane, and I
Windy.
want to grow there so bad. I just don't want to disrespect the sheriff next door. I'm just trying to play it cool.
Word.
Probably the best move.
Always.
Good neighbors, yes.
I know, and
Especially when they have guns that can use to shoot you.
But yeah, my backyard really reminds me of the Colorado version of yours.
My spot.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I couldn't get over that canyon in the back. I was like, whoa. All these SoCal canyons, though. SoCal tripped me out because it's funny. Like in my mind, it's a bowl, but really, so much of it's high desert. And has just so much elevated terrain and depression and killer. If you could get water in some of those places, man, just killer conditions for growing stuff that we just can't do here. Like our Humboldt does things really well, and what we do really well, we do phenomenally well. But once we get out of our wheelhouse, it just doesn't have the ability to go deep enough.
It's a relatively short season here.
Yeah. We're on the
moisture
best season ever in a normal rainy year would be like Halloween. You could hit Halloween and then harvest right around then and then have the rain come in right after. You already would have had 1 or 2 good rains, but those rains are the wash. So you want them. They wash the flour and then they chill it. And then it starts to dump the sugar. So to me, you really, even though in wine, vintage is to say that there was no rain that landed on the crop, I think a good outdoor crop benefits from a good cold rain. Like it's just got to be the right time. It is what it is. If it's at the right time, it's the best thing that ever happened.
How do you think it benefits from the cold rain?
Because the plant is it's thermal, right? So the plant is based off a leaf temp. And what I know is that you're conducting temperature at like 200 times the exchange rate through a liquid or versus an air medium. So if I submerge a plant in 40-degree water, it's radically different in temperature change than if I expose it to 40-degree air. So after we have that first good rain up the hill, all my chlorophyll dumps. I mean, everything goes dark within 2 days of that rain.
Plus, you're getting rid of a lot of the dust depending on the terroir
yes,
and the
it's
fire season
cleaning
and everything
And as
else,
long as
like,
it gets sunny shortly thereafter.
Yes.
Moisture can come, but moisture needs to leave. It can't linger. And when the moisture lingers is when you have the
you
problem.
can have it rain for a couple days and there's no problem. What you can't have is 80% humidity and 50-degree temperature.
Yeah.
Like that's the death zone. And yeah, you have a problem because it's that fog that lays in the mist. If you're not having any wind and any sun coming in after it, you're screwed. But to me, good outdoor that got washed and then chilled, it dumps the chlorophyll out of it at an aggressive pace.
And you get a smoother smoke.
Way smoother smoke. And I think it also is a stressor. And since I don't have a degree in plant chemistry, and I don't have a lab that I'm doing the essays, I can only say that I think that we get different metabolites that form from that extra stress from the temperature. Because it's a different speed of exchange. The plant has to go through some shock.
And
just
react.
Walk out of your house in the middle of the night to go let the dog out and it's 40 in your underwear. Walk outside in your drawers, it's 40 degrees, you can handle the dog outside in the front yard. Go jump in the pool at 40 degrees in your drawers and tell me there's a change in your feeling. And so your stress level skyrockets. You got to produce, and we know that it produces all these hormones. That's this whole benefit of these cold soaks, and everybody's obsessed with the ice baths right now.
Yeah, the cold plunge.
But to me,
stresses them a little too.
It releases something. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And so you can't state.
But you've observed it enough
I know that I know the crop when it doesn't get wet. I know the crop when it's wet. And if I can do the same plant multiple times, I can tell you, okay, when these conditions happened, the herb was better. So, you know, if you're looking at your production methodology honestly, you're always able to say, hey, we did right here, we did wrong here, this was a better year than last year. It isn't always, we're just always awesome. Some days you're not awesome. Some days, you know, you make a mistake and then the climate wasn't right and the genes didn't match and all of a sudden it's down, you know, 11 points and you're into straight B zone weed. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's called life, right? Like, it isn't every time we touch it, it's perfect. That shit's not real. Like, you a grower, you tell me you don't make any mistakes or you haven't had any problems.
Every time you touch it, it degrades.
Yeah, and we all have life issues. It's just, it's not in control completely. No matter what, there's variables of change that occur. And so when you're able to kind of step back and just look at them and say, what are the things that seem to matter most? And if I could have an ideal situation, what it would be, and it would be 10 days before harvest, I had 2 days of ice cold ass rain where the temperature was cold and the rainfall was slow and steady, but it wasn't heavy gusts, so I didn't get too much weight. And it saturated the bag too, so it changed the fucking bag temp, or it changed the earth temp. So the trigger of the earth temp change or the bag temp change and the leaf temp change, if I can have 2 days of that and then have it switch to windy, dry, and warm for that 2-week period, to me that couldn't be any better weed. It just couldn't be any better. The outdoor is crystal clean. If you dunk it, you get no contaminants in the water, right? So you see no sediment whatsoever coming off of it. And there's a smoothness that the chlorophyll dumps. I mean, it leaves the plant instantly. It's crazy. I was just playing with some fauche lights the other day, right? Because they got the, and I'm not advertising fauche lights. I'm just saying that I was playing with one, and it has spectra control, right? Where you can go from a spring to a summer to a fall, and I followed the directions on how they weave it into their cycle, right? And when I flipped it from spring into summer, I had a full chlorophyll dump on everything that was going to be purpled up literally within like, 36 hours. I mean, instantaneous. It wasn't even a slow drop. It was like an instant trigger. So same thing, it's a light stress that's saying, hey, don't do this.